Hello and welcome back. So now that we've deployed our host pool and we've configured the workspace and we've made a desktop available to the Lester Murphy account, what we're going to do here is deploy some remote apps. We'll create some remote apps in the Windows Virtual Desktop environment, and then we'll share those applications to Mike McDermott. Now, to begin this process, what we do from the Windows Virtual Desktop overview page here is go into the application groups option here under manage. And then what we're going to do is create a new application group. The first one was for the shared desktop. What we're going to do here is create an application group that consists of Excel, Word, and maybe PowerPoint. So we'll go ahead and add an application group and we will deploy into the WVD lab. And the drop down here for host pool only allows us to select WVD host pool because it's the only host pool we have. Now down here under application group type, the option for desktop is grayed out because we already have a desktop app group. So at this point, we can only create a remote app application group type. And what we'll call this application group name, we'll just call it remote apps. And then what we'll do is we'll click through to applications, and this is where we add the applications to the application group. This is where we tell Azure what applications do we want to make available through this application group. So we'll go ahead and click Add Applications, and then the application source allows us to select either a specific file path to an app or an app right from the Start menu. So we'll use the Start menu option, and we'll select Excel here. We can leave the remaining options in their default state, and we can save it. So now we've added Excel to this application group. We'll do the same thing for Word. And we'll save it, and then we'll do the same for PowerPoint. And we'll save it. So now that we have the basics configured and the applications that we want to share, we need to specify the assignments. We need to tell Windows Virtual Desktop who gets to use these remote apps. So we'll go ahead and add a user here, and we'll select Mike McDermott. If we click next through to the workspace, we again want to register this application group with our workspace, and then we can review and create since we're not doing any tagging. We can see our validation is successful, and we'll go ahead and create this application group. And we can see our deployment is complete. And if we click go to resource here, we can see the overview page for our remote apps application group. We can see which applications are included. We can remove them. We can add to them. And we can see the assignments, who is actually getting these applications. Now, to confirm this is working, what we do is open up an incognito window. And again, we go to the RD web URL. This is also known as the Windows Virtual Desktop Web Client. And we'll go ahead and open it up. And we'll log in as Mike McDermott. And when we sign in here, we should see the remote apps available to us right on screen within the Burks Bikes workspace. And there you have it. And now if Mike McDermott wants to launch Word, he simply clicks on the Word icon. We allow it. And what this does is connect to Microsoft Word and then launches the application. And we'll submit. And again, it's a lab environment, so things are a little bit slower than you'd like them to be, especially when compared to a production environment. But we can see that Word is now launching. At this point, we're presented with the sign in to set up Office. And then we can go ahead and begin the process of signing in to Microsoft Word using the Mike McDermott account. And this is why we needed to have those licenses assigned early on, so when Mike goes in to do this, he can actually do it. And we'll sign in. And we'll close it up, and there you have it. So that is how you create and assign remote applications. You start with the basics. You configure the applications you want to include in the group. You assign it to a user or to a group of users. And then you register with a workspace. At that point, you can test to make sure that the user you've assigned the app to can actually access the app. And as you can see here, we have everything working the way it's supposed to. So with that, we'll call it a wrap, and I'll see you in the next lesson.